Edmonton Oilers versus the Los Angeles Kings.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. So here's what I'll say.
And I was going to say that. Two best offensive centers against the two best defensive centers.
You prick! We're not the best hockey podcast, but we're the most honest hockey podcast. Yes. So here's the three best offensive centers in the game are in no particular order: McDavid, Matthews, Draisaitl. Right? Like,
No,
I don't think
in order. They're Matthews, McDavid, Draisaitl.
Okay.
This year.
Yeah. I don't even know if I'd say that. I'd maybe still put McDavid as a step above Matthews offensively, but. Either way, look, those are the three best.
Okay.
Two of the three best are on the Edmonton Oilers.
Yep.
The best defensive centers in the game, no particular order: Patrice Bergeron, Anze Kopitar, Drew Doughty.
Kopitar?
Drew Doughty. Philip Deneau.
Philip Deneau? Like, what are you talking
I've got
about?
Doughty on my list in front of me as for something to talk about because he's injured. But anyways, so Philip Deneau, Kopitar, Bergeron.
Drew Doughty, who just became the second coming of Red Kelly. They moved him to center, and now he's going to be a Selke Trophy
Listen,
winner.
man, that joke was just me trying to become the second coming of Red Skelton. Pow! Got him. Two Reds. So, but my point is, you've got two of the three best offensive centers versus two of the three best defensive centers in the game.
Yep.
And, I mean, championships tend to be won and lost down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
This is a really interesting one for me.
It is. It really is.
Right? Now, Doughty is out.
Yep.
And I think that very much hurts the Kings' chances.
It really hurt. I mean, as good as Bjorn Fott and Dursey and those guys have been, not having Drew Doughty is probably the killing blow.
Second best Corsi for percentage of this top 65 defensive pairings is Drew Doughty, Mikey Anderson.
Yeah.
That's good.
And he played all year with Mikey Anderson.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And he was outstanding.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think that really kills it. I mean, obviously goaltending is the big question mark. Mike Smith has been better down the stretch. But goaltending is a big question mark, right?
It is.
Edmonton's playing well.
Very well.
Their new coach has them going in a good direction.
Well,
it
since
seems
they got Evander Kane and Jay Woodcroft, took over behind the bench, they've been one of the best teams in the NHL.
Right. And so the only advantage that I see that the LA Kings have at this point is I've got more trust in that one of Cal Peterson or Jonathan Quick will pull out a good series than I have of Mike Smith. But I don't know. I mean, like, it would not shock me if Mike Smith just decided to go on an insane heater in this series and put up a 940.
Yeah.
It really, like, if my jaw would not hit the floor. So, boy. It's a toughie. But I'm going with Edmonton. I think that Edmonton's going to win this.
I agree. I agree.
Agree?
I think, like I said, or what I'm going to say in my playoff preview I'm posting tomorrow, the Kings will be a tough out, but they'll be an out.
Well done. So
and you look at Edmonton, right, and everything this year in Edmonton is colored by that terrible streak that they had.
Mid-season slump.
And there were a couple of things that were really bad about it. The worst of it, I think, the thing that magnifies it so much is the fact that it was over December and January. Mm-hmm. And that was when all kinds of games were being canceled. They had to shut down for a while.
Yeah.
Everything. And it just, the stink just hovered over for a long time.
Yeah.
For like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You play all those games in the compressed schedule, that's like a 2-week slump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was like 6 long, stinky, awful, depressing weeks where, people, Jim Matheson was asking Leon Draisaitl why he's so pissy and all this stuff. And it just. And
then they bring in Evander Kane and they fire their coach and they say, that's a good point that I didn't really think about, because you're right. The amount of games that were actually played in those 6 weeks, the amount of actual hockey that was played, it was a regular mid-season slump that got blown way out of proportion.
Yeah, and it was over a long time. And before that, They were amazing. And after that, they've been really good. Like before that, their power play was one of the best in NHL history.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think the doubts that creep in for Edmonton, and I don't think this series is going to be as close as you do.
Right.
I think the doubts that creep in with Edmonton are due to that streak this year. And I think, they were full marks. They were full marks. They were full marks for being lousy. Like they were lousy during that streak. But I think that it's taken on more of an importance than it should.
Yeah.
And I think they're a better team than that.
Those are excellent points. Before I make my kind of final point on Edmonton, Darnell Nurse, Evan Bouchard, 5th best defense pairing by 5 versus 5 by everything that I gave you from before.
Evan Bouchard was excellent this year.
Yeah. So, and like, that's good. It's really good.
And what makes it better is Darnell Nurse is a cyborg.
Yeah,
like exactly. He can play the whole game almost.
Yeah, exactly.
For every game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he can play.
He had 30-minute games on a regular basis. Yeah. So, no, I agree with you.
What's his health situation?
I didn't see anything.
I thought he was banged up, but I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Because he's a cyborg.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'll say is that I don't think there's any goaltender that I have less of a handle on than Mike Smith.
Okay.
And I don't think that it's anything like, I don't think that's a huge hot take or anything. I think that just at his age, it's just, a tweak that might not nag at a goalie who's 27 is going to nag at a goalie who's 40.
Right.
Hello.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But we saw Marty Brodeur take the New Jersey Devils, one of the less good iterations of the New Jersey Devils.
Less good.
to the
to the Stanley Cup final.
To the Stanley Cup final at 40.
He was 40, eh?
He turned 40 in that playoffs.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's, this is not without precedent, right?
So Martin Brodeur is going to be 50 this year. Are you sure? I don't think he was that old in 2012. But you might. Well, when was he drafted?
He was drafted 90.
90. So he was 18 and 90. 72. Yeah, you're right.
Boom.
You got it.
Yeah. I'm going to put that on repeating GIF. Just you saying I'm right.
Okay.
So, all right. Before we give our odds, actually, let's do that after we give our odds. Just a quick Twitter question on the Edmonton Oilers.
Okay.
What do you give your odds for the series? I think that we're both thinking Edmonton. What do you give the odds?
I'll give them 65. 65. Yeah, 65.
Okay. I give them 60.
Okay.
I give them 60. Going to moneypuck.com. Edmonton Oilers has 56.6.
Okay.
So we're not crazy off on that one.
Wow. I'm off by a lot from them. I'm like almost 10%.
That's one of the closer ones. Actually, I got it between to 0.1% on the Calgary one. But other than that, that's what we call an anomaly. So before we get off the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings, EZDaddy79 on Twitter, at EZDaddy79, Big Nickel Girl Dad, says, how far can Edmonton go?
Oh, boy. No, it's just I'm looking to the second round.
Way to go, Daddy.
Battle of Alberta.
Oh, that would be sweet. Oh, man. But you know what?
We're owed that. We are owed that. The hockey gods owe us that series.
The thing that I'll say about that is that Edmonton will be beat up in the second round from their stint with Los Angeles.
No, they won't.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
You don't think that Doughty and Deneau are going to be? Jeez,
Kopitar and Deneau.
But
they're not that kind of. They're not that kind of wear down guys.
They are subtly though. They are subtly.
They do it by angling and with good sticks and good minds and all those.
Yeah.
Things. They don't like wear you down. They're not like.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I think they're going to be fine.
Because going into Calgary, that is physical.
I don't know the answer to that question. I mean, who would you pick in a battle of Alberta right now?
Calgary.
I'd probably pick Calgary.
Yeah. I don't even think
based on that last game when they outscored Edmonton 9-2 at 5-on-5.
Yeah. The thing is that like I'll never forget. I played on this hockey team, and we were just a terrible team. we were just like a terrible, terrible team. And so we got in the change room, everybody's all sullen. And one of the guys says, we're not a very good defensive team, are we? We got like 70 shots on us that night. I was completely gassed, right? And the other guy goes, well, yeah, I mean, that's true, but we're not much of an offensive team either. And then the third joker in the room, there's always one good joker, says, fellas, it's come to my attention that we might not be much of a team. And so that's like the opposite of the Calgary Flames, where it's just like they're a pretty good defensive team. The only thing that's as good as their defense is probably
their offense.
Their offense. Yeah. You know what's actually pretty much as good as their defense and their offense? Their goaltending. They just like, where do you find the weakness? Like, I have not been a Calgary believer for years and years, but when I look at this iteration of the Calgary Flames and the way that Daryl Sutter has them playing, what do you point to say that they're not? Like, what weakness do you point to?
History.
History.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they got guys who have something to prove.
Sure. So let's say that Johnny Gaudreau gets taken out of these playoffs like he did last time he was in the playoffs. Gee, I'd be ashamed if they had like a Tyler Toffoli, one of the most proven playoff wingers, of this generation in their lineup. So, they've got the depth to overcome that. Okay. You can't pick one guy. Yeah. Anyways, I'm just saying. I'm a big Calgary believer this year.
Okay.
All right. Was that it?
I think that's everything.
That was a long one.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. All right.